Hi, everybody. I'm Suzanne Shirley, Emerald Ambassador with Plexus, and we're on tonight with Chapter 8 of Noah St. John's, The Secret Code to Success. Chapter 8 deals with basically, what is it called? Take that back. Chapter 8 is next week. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound familiar to me. I have not read Chapter 8 yet. Okay, Chapter 7. Chapter 7. That's right. I was wrong. Thank you, Valerie. Goal-free zones and goal replacement surgery. He always has these interesting terms for things that are in, that's the way it is with self-help coaches and the way that they are. So goal-free zones and goal replacement surgery. Okay, what does that mean? Very simple in this chapter. What goals are you working on that are no longer effective for yourself or appropriate for your actual objectives you're trying to achieve? And goal-free or goal replacement, that's goal replacement surgery that he's talking about. What are the goals that are no longer accomplishing the objectives that you're trying to, you're just running a rat race, spinning your wheels, still going after stuff that it's really not either somebody else has asked you to do it or convinced you to do it, or it's not even the passion of your life anymore. You're just really trying to chase after something that's not your thing. Or goal-free zones is allowing yourself times, or what he calls periods of time, where you are not working on any particular goals. You're working yourself into exhaustion. So what he strongly suggests, yes, very good chapter. What he strongly suggests is to make sure that you're working on yourself and allowing yourself to have some time where you're actually filling your cup and actively recovering from really hard work. Some of you work really, really hard and you're not doing anything to refill your cup. So let's get into it. I don't think it's going to take forever to get through this tonight. He talks about in the very beginning of attending a business conference with very, very highly successful, ridiculous high achievers that are like multimillionaires. They all had to pay $10,000 just to attend the conference. And what he did is he met some people, and one of them was a big earner who was still really scared of success. Really still scared of success, even though he was earning a massive amount of money. And he ended up doing some really unproductive things. And that's where Noah St. John found him. He was doing some unproductive things. And he sort of felt like he was sabotaging himself, this guy who was afraid of success. But the most amazing part was that he could see it happening and he just couldn't stop it. He was self-sabotaging. He was running on the rat race, but he just couldn't stop. So Noah St. John talks about, okay, we all know we're supposed to set goals, right? Yeah, set goals. Well, there are three reasons he suggests that there might be three reasons that we might not be achieving our goals. And what are they? Number one, we're going after something we really don't want anymore. Number two, our goals are impossible, outdated, or unrealistic. And if your goals are impossible, unrealistic, then you're just beating your head up against a brick wall. And number three, we haven't given ourselves permission to stop setting those goals. We know from physics that a body in motion tends to stay in motion. So when we get into something and we're used to doing it over and over, and we just keep doing it, we do it out of habit, and we also do it because our environment is set up to that. It's like our environment has been conducive to us continually working on whatever it is we're doing, and if it's not effective for us and it's not something that we're passionate about anymore, then we've got to do something to change that. So he then suggests, what about giving yourself a goal-free zone? Which is time and a place where you give yourself permission to stop setting goals. Now, there are many of you that need this, but there's also many of you that really are not comfortable setting goals. Perhaps this chapter does not suggest this. It doesn't even talk about it. If goal setting is a new thing to you and you've never set a goal, it's time to start learning how to do it. So I'm not saying that, and neither is this man, Noah St. John, saying that you shouldn't be working towards your goals. It's not saying that. But what he's doing is telling you that if all you're doing is working towards goals and you're not really ever getting places, then you need to reevaluate what they are, reevaluate your objectives, and examine your life to discover if you're just overworking too hard on these things and not giving yourself enough time to recharge. Why would you give yourself a goal-free zone where you're not actively pursuing a goal? Well, to avoid burnout, to get it that your worth does not come from your achievements. Your worth does not come from your achievements. You should look at yourself and literally, okay, I was talking to a girl today and she was telling me, Suzanne, I've been doing this, but I haven't been doing this, that, and the other. So I must be not accomplishing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm like, wait a minute. You've been doing this, and this. All of that is productive. I don't understand what you're saying. So I think a lot of us really set the bar way too high. We expect way too much of ourselves. We are overachievers. We think that this should happen overnight. If it doesn't happen in the time frame that we think it should happen in, we feel like we are utter failures. Does that ring a bell with anybody? Does it ring a bell? Okay, yes. So I'm speaking to the choir here. So your success and your worth does not come from your achievements. It comes from who you are right now. Do you know that you're a success right now on the way to your goals? You're already a success. Look, when I was day one in the business, I considered myself a future diamond. Now, if I didn't do that, how in the world can I become a diamond? And right now, my dog is dying for my attention. It's always that way. Children and dogs. When you get on something, you're not paying attention to them, they want your attention. I was saying, right now, I'm an emerald. I'm not a diamond. But if I didn't consider myself a diamond without the points, how in the world would I ever get to diamond? Not going to happen if I don't think of that, if I don't think myself of that way. So you need to understand your worth is outside of your achievements. Your worth is already here. It's here. It's right inside you. And you've got to get that now. To reduce also the effects of information overload. If you're just constantly inundated with learning stuff and showing yourself things and trying to acquire more information and knowledge and trying to constantly master a skill and you're beating your head up a wall because you haven't really accomplished that yet. Okay, it's time to stop inundating yourself with information and just chill out for a bit. And also to reconnect with your authentic self. Don't you think that it's so important? And if you don't, you need to get this. Reconnecting to who you are, what you want, recharging your battery, doing something that allows you to reflect and analyze yourself and think about what it is you really want. And I remember in this book, he points out that sitting around watching TV is even though it's a mindless activity, it's not going to recharge your battery. It's not going to allow you to think or do any kind of reflection. So that's not an example of reconnecting with your authentic self. Okay, so give yourself permission to unplug from work. You got to understand that your worth does not come from your achievements. Your worth does not come from your achievements. It's huge. Avoid the effects of information overload. It allows you to reconnect with your authentic self. Have you ever noticed that your best ideas don't come while you're working? You'll get epiphanies while you're mindlessly doing something. When your brain is not completely engaged in some sort of a task. You're in the shower. You're unplugged. You're just awakened in the morning. You know, sometimes our brains will go crazy in the morning when we first wake up. We'll think about all the kinds of things we shouldn't be thinking. Have you ever noticed that? Your negative thoughts will come to you in the morning when you first wake up. And you have to start doing battle immediately. So what I'm saying is that you're going to have really amazing ideas when your brain is unplugged. You need to allow yourself to unplug. So if you keep your nose to that grindstone too long, eventually you're going to have no nose. You're going to rub it off. Seriously. I hear you, Roxy. 4 a.m. I relate to that number. I used to get up at 4 a.m. for 20-something years. What do you like to do? You need to ask yourself these questions. What do you actually like to do when you unplug from work? How about meditating, journaling, walking, bicycling, jogging, exercising, or just taking a nap? He says, I would suggest not watching your TV or whatever show, because it's not unplugging your life there. You're not rejuvenating yourself when you're watching TV. So how about if you're in the middle of doing some work, give yourself permission to unplug every 45 minutes. How about every 90 minutes? Go and take 10 to 15 minutes and go do something that's not work. Walk around outside, take in the breath of fresh air. Really just change your environment, move, get moving, or go take a nap. Just relax, calm down. Goal-free zones are amazing. And if you say that you don't have the time, well, then you're choosing to just not prioritize the time, because everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. You make time for the things that are truly important to you, whether or not you're doing it consciously. Remember, what needs to get done gets done. If your friend is dying or is having an emergency at the hospital, you drop everything and you go down there and take care of it. You go down there and sit with your friend. You know, that's something that trumped everything on your to-do list. You're like, oh, I'm sorry, friend. You're in the hospital, but I still have to do all these errands. Sorry. You don't do that. You drop it all and go take care of what needs to get done. So that's the same thing as prioritizing your goal-free zones. And if you're not putting that as a part of your priorities, either in your daily activity or weekly activity, you're going to have some issues. If you want to be happy and rich, do what happy rich people do, which is having goal-free zones. You've got to give yourself time to unplug, recharge. Remember those why to's and the why not to's? Remember those? Pain is a great motivator. If you realize that if you don't do goal-free zones, you're going to experience a whole lot of pain. That may motivate you to do them. You're going to experience a whole lot of pain. If you burn out, don't you think that that's going to be very painful for you? Do you know how hard it is to get passionate about something once you've burned out? It's next to impossible. You cannot allow yourself to get burned out. I remember as a teacher, I fought that. I fought it hard because I saw teachers who were burned out, and they were terrible to be around. They were a disaster. Okay. Their mindset, being around them, horrible. It completely took away from my life to be around someone who was burned out. You avoided them at all costs. I knew what was coming for me if I ever allowed myself to burn out. I would be the most unhappy person. I would have the most unproductive classroom. My students might even be able to take over. And I was never going to allow that. So I had to work really hard at not burning out. It became one of my number one things that I had to work on for the last 5 or 6 years. You need to go and get some support from the people that are in your life instead of just sitting around making excuses that you can't do this. Okay, so who do you need support from so that you can go take a walk every couple of days? Who do you need support from so that you can take a nap? Who do you need support from so that you can get in your car and drive and roll the windows down and play your favorite music for a while and just chill out and think about nothing but enjoying your life and maybe praising God or listening to your favorite music? Okay, you've got to go and seek support. Do you remember what I talked about when I said the greatest, highest achievers are the ones that ask for what they need? Okay, who are you asking? Are you asking for what you need? You have a support system, hopefully at home. You need to ask them for what you need. Delegate. People who ask have very powerful lives. People who actually actively are involved in asking for what they need. They have power in their lives. People also who have power in their lives know how to delegate. They know how to delegate. So what's stopping you? You're saying, I don't have the time. I've got kids. I got meals to cook. I've got a business to run. I got a million other things I need to take care of. Well, maybe you're thinking that just people don't understand. You've got too much to do. So you need to go and make a list of all the things you actually need, and then make a list of the people who you need support from. And think of ways that they could support you. When you go and ask them for support, tell them what you need. What kind of support do you actually need? Write it down. Okay, how you're not going to change your life is if you're making excuses. You can be rich and happy, but you can't sit there with your excuses, keeping on doing what you've always done and then wonder why you're not rich and happy. He's giving you the formula for success, and you just have to do what he's saying to do. Ask for what you need. Delegate what you need, what you can delegate to other people. Ask for support. Realize the importance of your value. Realize that you need to unplug. Realize you need to charge your batteries, and then make a way for it to happen, and stop saying you don't have time. So most people are just running around harder and harder trying to get the same results or less. Whereas happy, successful people know how to get the most out of every single day because they have become experts at managing their sources of energy. They've asked for what they need from their support system. They've delegated things that they can delegate. They've gotten rid of things that they don't need to be working on. They've completely cut those things out of their lives. They're like, that's stupid. Why am I working on that anyway? I don't even want that anymore. They've evaluated their lives and themselves, and they've figured out what they need, and they've just set up their lives for success. So we have 4 sources of personal energy: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Your physical energy is the quantity of energy that you've got, quantity, like how much of it. Your emotional energy is the quality of it. What's the quality of your energy? Mental energy is the ability to focus on a task for a period of time. How long can you focus on a task? That's your mental energy. And spiritual energy is a sense of being or a purpose on this earth. Chemo, come up here right now. Come on, let's go. Come on, right now. Come here. Stop whining. Okay. So most of us are really, really great at spending our energy, but we're horrible at renewing it. Hang on, let me get this dog. Come here. Okay. We've got 2 things that we can do with our energy. We can spend it and we can renew it. Now, if all you're doing is spending your energy and you're never renewing it, that's a problem. Do you see the problem there? You've got to learn how to renew it. Okay. You might also need goal replacement surgery. We've talked about this, is cutting out the things that are either impossible, somebody else's goals, or goals you don't really even want anymore. Maybe somebody told you that you need to be doing something and inside you don't even want to do it, but you're trying to go for it anyway. Okay, that needs to go. Bye-bye. You need to only work on what you want to do. Only what you want. What are some impossible goals? An example might be to make everybody happy. You can't do that. Impossible. Impossible. What about another one? I have to be perfect and never make any mistakes. Okay, way too high of expectation for yourself. Impossible. How about this? I have to sell 100% of my prospects all the time. Impossible. Ain't going to happen. You're setting yourself up for massive failure. So examine your hidden, no longer valid goals, and if need be, let them go. You're going to be a lot happier. Cut them out. Okay, I'm going to say something else that's not even in the book. I just got this epiphany. What about an impossible relationship? What about a relationship that's not working for you anymore? I mean, literally saps your energy, takes everything out of you, chaos, no joy, drama. How about you cut that relationship out? Cut it out of your life. Is that hard for some of you? Yeah, because go back over to page 159. You're always worried about making everybody happy. That's not your job. Stop doing that. Cut out some relationships. If you're going to cut out some goals from your life that aren't working for you anymore, how about just trimming out those relationships that aren't working? It's hard to do that. It's so hard to do that. I mean, because we just want those relationships to work. Why can't they work? Well, there's a lot of reasons why they don't work. You're not going to always have productive, satisfying, deep, amazing, drama-free relationships with everybody. And if that person is not adding value to your life and you're not adding value, it's not a two-way street. It's time to cut them out. Sorry, but not sorry. It's been hard for me, but I have had to do that. So hard. Because at the moment's notice, right now, I could turn around and go over there and try to please that person. I could go over there and say, I'm sorry, I'm this, I'm that. Can we bridge a gap? Can we do this? Can we do that? And I would have to do all the accommodating people. I would have to do all the moving mountains. And I'm not doing that anymore. I'm done. And my life is a lot happier because I've cut out the chaos. Because that person can never be pleased. And that relationship is impossible. So I'm not saying that you need to cut out anybody that doesn't serve you. That's not what I'm saying. But you've got to really evaluate your relationships. If you're spending time with people that are not helping you and they're detracting from your life, then something's got to give. Something's got to give. And you've got to be the one to decide what to do. It's not going to just happen on its own. It's not going to just figure itself out over time. You can't please people. You've got to learn to set up some boundaries for your own personal self-preservation and your own mental health and stability. And that really relates to this goal-free zone thing. Delegating, asking for what you want, figuring out the stuff that doesn't work, figuring out the goals that are not working for you. It's time to just cut the crap out. Cut it out. Get it out of your life. Okay? Okay, so if you're the kind of person that's sitting there going, well, I don't have any impossible goals and I don't have any impossible relationships. Okay, fine. Skip this step right now if that's not you. Okay, but 98% of the rest of the world, it is us. All right, it's me, it's you, it's everybody. So we've got to really analyze and think about what is not serving us. Who is not serving us? Bye. And don't turn around and look back. Don't worry about it. You know what? Guess what? It'll be okay. You're going to be okay. It'll be all right. The world will not stop moving if you're not friends with XYZ person. The world will not, you're not going to just stop being successful if you don't have a relationship with XYZ person. Okay? It's okay. It's okay. You're going to be all right. So there's really great questions on page 161 in order to figure out how to do this goal replacement surgery. You might even be able to add people's names in there, or like relationship terminology in there, and really start to evaluate and get serious with yourself about the things and the people and the activities that don't serve you anymore. So I challenge you to go over there and look at that. And like I said, this was a very short chapter. So we're at the end of the chapter now. And there are some, have you noticed at the end of every chapter, there are 10 affirmations for each step? Questions that you can ask yourself. You know, if you're struggling, I might just suggest this. If you're struggling with some affirmations for yourself and you just don't really know what to actually tell yourself, then why don't you just try this affirmation thing? And there's 10 questions at the end of every chapter that you can start plugging into your ThinkUp app. Okay? You can plug it in. You can plug it into whatever audio memo, voice memo thing. I use my voice memo thing for my affirmations as well. Do you know? Oh my gosh. Okay. Go find a whole script of 15 or so sentences anywhere out there on the internet on the topic that you want to work on. Like say it's time management. Okay. Are you the queen of questions, Roxy? Go for it, girl. I'm so proud of you. You're just doing such a great job. Good for you. Go out on the internet and find yourself a set of 15, 12 different script things that you want to say, like revolving around a topic, like time management, weight loss, healthy living, exercise, positive mindset, whatever the case may be. All right. And open up the voice memo app on your phone. Everybody should have one, whether it's an iPhone, whether it's, hang on, I'm going to read this question here. Somebody's asking me something. I have not seen his videos on the affirmations. Awesome. Yeah, I need to start using my own advice, Valerie. I should. Okay, so here back to what I was saying. Go and open up the voice memo app. And my phone allows me to record however long I want with a voice memo. And it allows me to save that voice memo with a title. And so I have some on weight loss, health, healthy mindset, positive mindset, time management, you name it. There's all kinds of ones. And whatever I want to listen to, I feel like I need, I go and listen to that over and over. And there's a way to push replay. So it will sit there and replay and replay and replay. And I'm telling you, it is highly effective. So if you want to do that with these questions, then do that. I challenge you to do that. I challenge myself. So there you go. We've finished the first 30 minutes. We are going to have a discussion for our team over this chapter and any other business issues or personal issues that they want to discuss, and we'll have a reflection. If you want to enjoy that, you're going to have to join us live because I'm getting ready to turn off the recording. Next week, we're going to do chapter 8, and I just closed the book. Chapter 8 is called, Who Are You Trying to... Oh, it's exactly what I just said. Who are you trying to protect, punish, or please? Ooh, they're going to put the people on here and you're going to have to carve out people from your life. Trust me. This is going to create an environment for yourself of success when you get rid of the baggage, folks, of relationships that don't work in your life. Okay, so I just kind of started talking about it, and he's going to really address it next chapter. So we'll do that next chapter, and I will see you guys next Monday night at 7 p.m. Okay, love y'all. Talk to y'all then.